I was a little girl. I was only 3.5 years old when the war broke out.
For Joni Kimoto and thousands of other Japanese Americans, World War II meant upheaval. After Japan's strike on Pearl Harbor, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed an executive order. It called for all Japanese Americans living within exclusion zones on the West Coast to be kept in more than a dozen concentration camps. One of those camps was Minidoka, near Twin Falls, Idaho. It's where Joni and her family, who were from Portland, stayed between 1942 and 1945.
It impacted me quite a bit that we were there because they took away our everything else.
Joni doesn't remember much about Minidoka, but what she can recall is meaningful.
I had a memory of the vastness of Minidoka and the weather, the extreme weather that we experienced, the wind, the dust storms, and the cold winters and the hot summers.
A few years ago, Joni returned to Minidoka on a pilgrimage with 13 family members.
And I kept thinking, this is the same landscape that my parents saw when they arrived.
It may not be the same for much longer. About 2 miles outside the Minidoka historic site is the proposed site for the Lava Ridge Wind Project. Magic Valley Energy wants to install and operate 400 wind turbines on federal, state, and private land. The BLM, which must sign off on the project, is taking public comment on the newly released draft environmental impact statement.
It's not a we're opposed to it, we're for it. It's an environmental analysis.
Heather Teal-Nielsen is public affairs specialist for the BLM's Twin Falls district. Since getting the initial proposal in 2021, she says public feedback has led to 5 alternative plans for the wind project sites.
BLM has come forward with 2 preferred alternatives that are a much reduced size, ultimately to reduce the impacts while still allowing for the opportunity for clean renewable energy to be produced.
On Wednesday, the Twin Falls district set up an open house in Portland, inviting the public to check out the options, ask questions, and air concerns.
Many consider the campsites sacred.
That includes Rich Iwasaki. His mother and grandmother were interned at Minidoka. He supports clean energy, but not in a place so sullied by the past.
It does minimize, and that chapter of American history, as dark as it is so important for future generations to understand what happened.
It's important to know that our past is preserved and it's not being altered by progress.
The BLM expects to make a decision in late fall. Tomorrow, they'll be in Seattle for another open house on this project. They tell me many in the Japanese American community there also express concerns. David.
And we so appreciate these survivors and their families speaking up and sharing their stories. Thank you, Catherine.